Hi, I'm Jay Purcell, and I'm your 2nd District County Commissioner, and I'm running for Presiding Commissioner. Now, what we have done is we're putting together a video to accurately display what has been happening in county government for the last 2 to 3 years. Now, let me start out by the get-go by telling you, the citizen, that there's some colorful language in this video. There's some cussing, some profanity, but the facts are I don't endorse that type of behavior, but for you, the citizen, to clearly know what's happening in county government and what I'm up against, you need to hear it. So again, I don't endorse it, but I wanted to make you aware that it's in the video before you watch it. Secondly, this is an example that will illustrate what I've been up against for the last 2 to 3 years. I, from day one, have been the citizen's advocate. I've been trying to advocate for change. I've been trying to advocate for more responsible government, more accountable government. And in every step of the way that I've done this, I've been hit with threats, intimidation, and challenges. And they've tried to discredit and destroy me all along the process. So I think it's going to be clear by the time you watch this video what type of environment that I've been trying to serve you with. It will also be clear that there's a major media bias involved. So again, appreciate your time, appreciate you watching this video, and hopefully I can gain your support by the end of the video.
The best damn job in the county is the Cape Commissioner.
I don't disagree.
Now, you don't need to sit there and do nothing.
Well, that's what you're implying.
No. Fuck you! God damn it, you won't listen. I'm supposed to report back if you are even agreeable to try to do a job as... You're not acting like a...
Report back to who? You're the presiding commissioner. Who do you answer to, Gerald? You're asking me to do something I don't believe in for the sake of keeping my job. Would you do that?
It's convinced. And you, by God, would do that. You'll do anything to keep that.
No, not anything. And I'm proving it right now.
What you're about to see now is a clip that has to do with the Lawrence McBride easement, and it's a very telling clip about what happens on in county government. Basically, here's what happened. Lawrence McBride had signed an easement back in 2000. It had sat in a milk crate in Commissioner Box's office for 10 years, had never been notarized. When it came time to do the road, we had found out that it needed to be notarized, and they had over and over and over tried to get Mr. McBride to re-sign the easement. He refused. So what ended up happening was Commissioner Jones wanted to go ahead and do the road anyways without a legal notarized easement.
It was never my intention to go out there and get him to sign new ones because they'd already been through that. He didn't want to sign a new one. Never did I say I was going to get a new one signed, even that meeting that there seems to be some confusion exists.
No, I think it's maybe not a matter of getting a new one signed. It was a matter of getting this one notarized. That was the challenge.
Right.
This one was not.
It's not a bit of challenge for me to get that notarized, Commissioner. I can have that notarized in 5 minutes.
This one wasn't recorded. That was the issue. We wanted it recorded. Not that it was an old easement or a new easement. The directive that we had last week is that they would be recorded. I don't have an issue with old easement, new easement. The issue is the recordability. If it's not recorded, it's not worth the paper it's wrote on. And so to say that I have an old easement, I guess the question is, you know, did we make everyone else with the old easements at least get it recorded? I'm assuming sure we did, didn't we?
Yeah, everybody else.
It has to be recorded.
Well,
it's not a true easement until it's recorded.
Scott,
I'm not sure that'd be true. You need to
get me that original that Lawrence signed back in '01, okay? Bring that original to me, okay? I'll take care of his problem.
Thank you.
Don't you, by God, be asking how I got it done either.
Okay, what you're about to see is a phenomenon known as the Salary Commission. And basically what happens is all of your elected officials meet once every 2 years. And what they basically do is get in one room and they justify their existence and they justify their salaries and they give themselves raises. Now imagine what would happen if you or I were able to do that with our jobs and where we work. These are people who make between $70,000 and $110,000 a year, and guess what? Every year they get raises. So you're going to hear where I challenge these other elected officials. I clearly say we need to freeze our salaries, have been doing it for several years. I've been voting against it. I'm the only elected official to do that. When I talked to Senator Crowell about it, he saw that no, we could freeze county officers' raises. What I would suggest so that we can have a thoughtful discussion about this. Maybe go and check all the first-class counties and look at the amount of population that it serves, the amount of their budget, and the amount of their employees, and look at their assessed value. And then we can have a discussion based on facts instead of what I know is occurring, which is the fox guard and the hen house, where they've got 3 and 4 times the population that we have, 3 and 4 times the assessed value, 2, sometimes 3 times the workforce under the elected officials. I went as far as to check the collector's office and the amount of transactions they do. Get those numbers, and we'll sit down in an open forum. We can make it at nighttime if you'd like. Sure. And we'll lay those out, because I'm talking about criteria, database, decision making.
I'm not just talking about Jefferson County.
They're making in some cases $10,000 and $15,000 less. I think the most compelling standard to go by is, are you having trouble retaining and recruiting people to fill positions? I've only heard that argument made one time. It was by the sheriff. He was able to lay those out, and that was why Proposition 1, I believe, was received as well as it was, because he was able to lay out all of the people. Now, all I'm saying is we ought to be able to do the same thing. We ought to be able to back that up. You tell me who and where, because I'll go to work for him, gives you a raise when they lose $300,000 in a year. That's his own numbers right out of his mouth. Show me where that's going to happen. A business that knows they're going to lose $300,000 in 1 year has a trend, their own words, has a trend for 3 years. Show me a business that gives $3,000 and $4,000 raises to all the management. So they can play all the numbers they want. I've got a whole bunch of things to bring up. And if you want to put yourself in the class of AIG, have at it. Okay, what you're about to hear is something that happened in the budget process of fall of 2009, in November and December, and also in January, February of 2010 of this year. And what had happened was all the elected officials and the county associates got a 3% raise. Well, that went through a public process. The numbers were printed in a budget. I asked questions specific to that budget to make sure that there were no raises that were out of line. And what I'd found out in January was that, in fact, there were $4,000 and $5,000 raises slid in for several employees who were close to Morty Swingle, Commissioner Kepper, and Commissioner Jones. They were not in any budgets. They were not in any written letters or recommendations. They were just slid in, period. And those raises were between 14 and 15%. There were not discussed. Nowhere in the last 3 months was there a discussion in a public forum where we said Don McQuay is going to get a $5,000 raise, and this is why we're going to do it. There was no discussion ever. Nothing in writing, nothing in a public setting, no minutes, no agenda, no discussion, period. It never happened.
From here on out, everybody wait to see what his next deal is going to be, okay?
Hopefully nothing, if everyone is open, transparent, and honest. There won't be any.
God, here's his favorite words. We are open, transparent.
You've admitted that I never got this document. You've admitted
I don't know if you did or not. I know I didn't give it to you, and I'll not give you anything.
And you had it.
Yeah.
You're the one that was given it. So if you didn't give it to me, how would I get it? The point is, we have a job to do, and you have to put personalities beside that. You have to do what's right. This should have went through as an agenda item. It should have been discussed, and it should have been in the minutes. It never happened.
Isn't he wonderful?
I'm not going to sit here and say they don't deserve raises. I'm not going to say they're not good employees or anything like that. What I am saying is it was not done in a public way. None of this stuff was done in a public way. And it's not in any minutes. And I know I've said this 30 times. It never came to the county commission as a body.
I didn't hide anything. Did I go out of my way to give it to you? Nope. It was all there. You could have got it, like anybody else could have got it.
Where was it at? You had it.
I had it. Virgie had it. I don't know, different ones. I don't think I gave it to Donna for a long time.
You didn't give it to Donna until 2 days, Thursday. Our own county commission assistant didn't have it till the story broke.
See?
The end result was we now post those salaries on the internet, and we have to have an open public hearing for every salary increase in the county. What I'm asking citizens to do, if you're a Democrat, pull a Republican ballot. If you're an independent, pull a Republican ballot. If you're a Republican, pull a Republican ballot. And all of us together can finally change things in our community. We can get control of our government back. Because if you're just going to go and elect the guy that has the most signs and the most money, who the Republican machine is behind, that person is not going to vote to change county government. They are going to have too many favors. They're going to owe too many people, and they're going to be too invested in the process to try to change things. You elect me, I'm going to declare that I'm an independent after the election, and I'm going to leave the Republican Party. you're going to have a Democrat appointed by the Democrat governor of our state, and then you're going to have a Republican in Commissioner Kepper. I don't think you're going to have, ever in the history of Cape Girardeau, a more diverse, independent, accountable county commission is what you'll have after this election if I'm elected.